Hello, this is a quick explanation of how to do HLS streaming using OBS Studio. Now you might think OBS Studio doesn't support HLS streaming, but actually it's hidden away in the recording tab. You can set up an advanced FFmpeg pipeline, and FFmpeg supports HLS, so I'll explain how to configure that. But first of all, what is HLS and why might you want to do it? So basically, HLS is sort of a new streaming format, and the idea is that the web server or website it's running on doesn't have to have any special streaming software. So what's going to happen is OBS is going to use FFmpeg to create a stream, but rather than a single stream of video, it actually breaks the video into lots of small chunks and just uploads them to a website. And it updates a metadata playlist file each time it updates a new chunk. And then the web browser is going to come along and download those chunks one at a time and stitch them back together. So what's the point of this instead of having one big video stream? Well, you don't need any kind of special website. If you've got a very cheap shared hosting, you can use this. Even if it doesn't have any built-in video streaming support, this will work. It was really designed actually for very big events with millions of viewers, because content delivery networks such as Akamai and Cloudflare provide sort of very simple distribution of static web files without special streaming support. So by using this method, made it very easy to distribute videos large scale as well. But I just needed it for a small, simple web page and streaming wanted to do. So how do you set up OBS to do this? Well, what you need to do is go in the Output tab and not set up the streaming output, but set up a recording output. You put it in advanced mode and you do a custom output type FFmpeg. And you can see our output. It looks like we're writing to a file here, but what we could actually do with our web host was it supported a web disk or a WebDAV, which lets you, if you go to your hosting provider, it will let you mount and map the network drive as if it was a local disk attached to your computer. So while FFmpeg thinks it's writing to a local disk, we've actually got a mapped network drive onto the Z drive in Windows so that it will be writing the output files directly onto our web host. Next, the container format, you need to select from a big long list, pick out HLS, the HTTP live streaming, and then the video and audio bit rates you can set as you prefer, depending on the quality of video you're going to want. You're obviously going to want to balance between making sure every viewer can see it and high quality. The one thing that you probably will want to change though is you might want to reduce the keyframe interval, which by default was 250. So what FFmpeg does with HLS is it's got to break the video into lots of small files, and the first it will break after it's had 2 seconds of video. It will wait then for the next keyframe in the video, and by default we were only getting a keyframe after about 10 seconds. So I've reduced that keyframe interval. So in this example, at 30 frames per second, it'll be once every 3 seconds at minimum that it'll output a video keyframe. And this just means that instead of breaking somewhere between 2 and 10 seconds, it's going to create a little chunk between 2 and 3 seconds long each time, which will just reduce the latency a little bit at the end. There's one more little setting you're going to need to change if you go into the advanced settings page. The default for the recording file name actually included a load of special symbols, which meant it would output the current date and time in the file name. And that's not very useful if you're actually going to stream live to your website, because you need to know what the path of the file is going to be and the name of the file in advance when we're setting up the web page. So I've just changed it to a static file name without any special escape sequences, and also tick the box saying overwrite if exists. So if we stop the stream and start again, we don't have to change our web page. And I'll show you quickly what the web page is going to look like, which we're also going to put on our web server. So there are alternative HLS streaming options, but I've used HLS.js, and this is pretty much a straight copy and paste of what they recommend on their website. Look up HLS.js on GitHub, you'll find it. And I've just set the path to the M3U8 file to match the file name that we set earlier. And then you can stream directly from OBS onto any website using HLS. And just remember, this is from OBS's point of view a recording, not a stream. So you click start recording rather than start streaming to make it work. One final detail, at the end of the day, you're going to have a huge number of small files. If you want to merge them back into one big file, there's a couple of Linux commands you can do. You can literally just concatenate all the files together, and then if you want to put them into a slightly more compatible format that will work with more video players, you can do a little transformation with ffmpeg at the command line. In theory, you can do similar in Windows. Just haven't got the commands there for it, which we. But anyway, that is how you do some HLS streaming. It's a reminder of how basically how it works. And good luck. Have fun streaming.